Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing a deck profile on my top Idol Pacifica deck. So this one is probably, because of the way I've put the deck together, this one isn't really that budget either. In fact, this one might be the most expensive one. I'm not sure. But I know in terms of the budget, in terms of the price of the three decks that you see, the ones that I've shown previously, the Riviere one doesn't really have any super expensive cards in it. Like Coral doesn't, the one in Coral that's expensive is the Draw PG. That's a pricey card, so it kind of hurts that build from being a budget build. But the Pacifica one has another card that's pretty expensive. But otherwise you can make this one pretty budget as well. And it's not top Idol Pacifica. So, but we gotta run 4 Pacifica because this was the original Mega Blaster for Bermuda Triangle, for those wanting to know the history, whereas this was the original ride chain. This was the second ride chain that came out when Prisms came out, and then whereas these two debuted at the same time. But this was the Mega Blaster, so this is like CEO Amaterasu basically for Bermuda Triangle. But now the way her effect works, her effect works similar to how her deck was actually built way, like in the G era, like way later on with the cross ride and all that stuff, and the break ride. So anyway, once per turn, Soul Blast 1 activate all of the effects below according to the number of Vanguards with Pacifica in their card name. So that means you want to run a lot of Pacificas in here, or you want to have as many of them as you can on the field. And the deck is not a ride chain, so because of that, you have to build the deck to try to focus on getting your like extra copies of her to your hand as fast as you can. But basically, if you have one or more, so just the standard one is you get plus 10k and plus 1 drive. If you have 2 on the field, you get 2 imaginary gift force. And then if you have 3 or more until end of turn, when your Vanguard will call from his or her hand to G, they have to call 3 or more at the same time. So basically, what that means is if you have all of them on the field, not only do you get the 2 gifts, and you get all that extra drive check and all that stuff, you know, all the good stuff, you also get, okay, I said 3 or more. So you got 3. So you basically have a front line like that. It's like Brufus. It's like the Brufus turn with the variant guy, where it's like they have to block with like 3 cards in hand. So pretty good. You have to run, because of that, this deck tends to go Force 1. Oh, and I guess I didn't mention in the previous videos. So this one, you can go Force 1 usually. You can also go Force 2. A little bit more situational. This one I like to go Force 2 just because I draw a ton of cards. And I mean, you can go Force 1 also, but you don't get as many gifts. You don't ride Coral that many times. You tend to like recycle them and stuff. But it really just depends on the matchup. Like you can go either Force 1 or Force 2 for both of these decks. This one I tend to find myself going Force 1 just because you can make insane columns. But on top of that though, you can also go Force 2 because your columns are already pretty big. So with the Force 2, extra critical pressure is a thing. So it's either or. It depends on which type of deck you're facing. If you're up against a Protect clan, you're probably going to want to go Force 1. If you're up against Excel, then I'd probably go Force 2 almost all the time. So it really just depends. In a mirror matchup against another Force clan, like Royals or Shadows or something, then it really just depends on who goes first. And then this would be, I don't know, Force 2, just because Force 2 is more annoying. And then this is usually Force 1. And the reason why it's Force 1 is because this deck doesn't have as insane column numbers as Riviere, so you need the extra gift markers. And because you're getting a lot of gift markers too, you're activating once per turn, you're generating a ton of force markers, so it's kind of like the Genesis, the Valkyrion deck in that regard, or the Mordred deck in Shadows. So that's why this is more of the premier Force 1. This would be more of like Force 1 or Force 2, with probably more geared toward Force 2. And then this would be, again, Force 1 or 2, But if you had 12 crit in Coral, because you don't have the draw Sentinels, then you probably want to go Force 1. Alright. So that's just a little bit of discussion on the gifts, because people have been asking me to explain the gift markers a little bit better in my deck profiles. So next for the grade 3, I'm running 4 refined Poiser Urszula. Urszula, when placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, it counterbalance 1, search for a Pacifica from the deck and drop zone, reveal and put it in your hand. And if you selected from the deck, you shuffle the deck. So really good, because sometimes like you'll have a column where it's like these two, and then some other grade 2 or something, and then you'll do the skill for the get 2 imaginary gift. So on the following turn, they're going to try to like focus fire this thing down or blow it up if they're a clan that can bind it or something. As long as you're not up against Narukami. Narukami can wreck this deck pretty bad with the binding the front row. Or, I mean, even Messiah sort of can do it also with the deleting. Or deleter, not deleting, well yeah, deleters can also, because of the bind and delete. But that's why you have this against decks where you have to retire or they focus fire it, because this helps you like get her back from the drop zone. Like I said, it's kind of like the Mordred Blaster Dark deck. That's kind of how I see this deck playing. And here's where the deck kind of is no longer a budget deck. So I'm running 4 from Colorful Pastoral Caro. So this is when placed from hand, Soul Blast 2, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as your grade 3 Vanguard. So the reason why she's in here is pretty self-explanatory. Get another Pacifica to the hand. But yeah, she is generic support that works in all of them. But I just decided to throw her in the Pacifica one because I felt like the way I built the Riviere deck, it's already so strong on its own, it doesn't really need that. And then Coral is just also really, really good with all that, you know, draw power for Coral and search for Coral and get all that stuff. So yeah, so this is a natural fit in Pacifica because Pacifica needed the most help. Next, 4 crowning partner Abanne, I think. When placed on Vanguard Regard, put up to 1 face up top Idol Pacifica each from your drop zone. Okay, so again, it helps you recycle. It helps you recycle Pacifica. So if you put from damage zone, put the top card of your deck into the damage zone. So yeah, it's kind of like variants. So they really are trying to help you be able to get the multiple Pacificas on the field. That's what most of the support does. And then the only other grade 2 I'm running, actually no, there's one more after this one. And people probably, if you've watched the other 2 deck profiles, you probably already know what that other grade 2 is. But anyway, 3 Flustered Idol Fretta. When placed, discard a card from your hand, draw a card, and counterblast 1. Or then counterblast 1 and return 1 Pacifica from your drop zone to hand. It's just another way to get Pacifica back. So lots of ways to get Pacifica. And then of course, I'm running one of these in all of my 3 Bermuda Triangle decks. So I have my 1 Perla and then my 1 Perle. So this is the grade 1, this is the grade 2. So you got the 12 grade 2s and you have the 13 grade 1s. So the 1 Perle. And then 4 Lavender, Missy, Lapro. At the end of the battle, boosted a rear guard. Counterblast 1, return this unit to your hand, look at 7. Okay, so again, it's searching for top Idol Pacifica. The deck suffers if they get stuck in the damage zone, and that's the reason why they made this card. It helps fix that problem. So they have an out to everything except bind. Bind is the only way that you can permanently get rid of Pacifica. Next we have 4 topping Mascot. I might not even bother with these names anymore, guys. Serio. When placed, counterblast 1, look at 7. From the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Pacifica, top Idol Pacifica, and a refined Poiser Urszula. So basically one of the grade 3s. So that's the reason why you got to run both together in this deck, specifically because now this card only searches for the 2 grade 3s, not any grade 3. You can reveal up to 1 of both of them, of each of them, and put them into the hand. So you can basically +2 off of that search. And then, if your and your opponent's Vanguard are grade 1, you may Soul Blast 1 for this cost, instead of the Counter Blast 1. So that's a very interesting card. Very interesting search card. One of the more advanced search cards to come out. And usually what I find about Bermuda Triangle is usually where Bushiroad likes to test out a lot of their newer effects that end up showing up later down the road in other clans. Because like Break Ride, I think Break Ride Vert was like the very first Break Ride, at least in the English release. Maybe in the Japanese release it was a little bit different. But Vert came out like in July of like 2013 or something. But anyway, so 4 of that because it's a really good searcher. You could potentially +2 to your hand. That's really good for a Counter Blast 1 or even a Soul Blast 1 in the early game. That's insane. Next, 4 Intact Parasol Enis. So the draw, the newer Sentinel, the EB11 Sentinel. So that's it. So the main deck is what, 8, 12, 13 in that order for the ratio. And now for the trigger lineup. This will surprise people because people are probably going to say, oh, we're probably going to run 12 critical. No, not in this one. In this one, we're running 4 draw, 4 of the regular draw. It's budget. You know, I don't have a playset. I don't have multiple playsets of those draw Sentinels, so I have to run these. So I got to run the regular Sentinel. And the thing is, with the deck, there's room to run it in there. So draw extra draw power because you want to draw into your top Idol Pacifica as fast as you can. And despite having all these support cards helping you out, unlike Coral and Riviere, this deck doesn't have like insane amounts of draw compared to the other 2 decks. So that's why I felt like the draw trigger is pretty good in here. And then just 8 critical. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then 4 heals. And the starter Pacifica was never a ride chain, so there's no like grade 0 Pacifica. So she runs this one, Pure Gifter, Aliche. So this is the newer one. So it's interesting with the trigger lineup. So people are probably wondering, like the triggers are all different artworks of the original. But if you remember, Bermuda Triangle had the duo concept. So it's this time around in the original EB05, they had like black outfits. And I think, yeah, the original one of her was a black outfit. And then now with EB11, they're in the white outfits. So if we go look at, I think Riviere is the one that has them. Yeah, so if you see like Rena, this is the new Rena. Where's the old one at? Here's the old one. So the original EB05 has the black outfit, and then so it's basically like the duos are still a thing apparently, sort of. So here's this one compared to this one. So, and then the heel also, the black outfit, the black dress, and then the white dress and the black dress. So anyway, guys, that's my Bermuda Triangle decks. So the 3 classic ones. I never got the trial deck that came out last year or wherever it came out. I don't have it. So I don't have that many Bermuda Triangle cards. Just these, and that's all I've got. I got like basically all playsets of all the commons and triggers, obviously. But that's the decks that I built. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you guys would change, if anything. I try to make the deck be a little bit unique, so that's why I put the Perle and Perla sisters in there. The other one's kind of buried down there, but anyway, that's the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed the decks, and I'll keep them coming. And let me know in the comments what more you guys want to see. If you want budget builds, if you want like super premium expensive builds or whatever. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.